Good morning. I'm Carrie Nielsen, a member of the Board of Trustees, and I want to welcome all of you here this morning. Whether you are online or in person, you are welcome here. Whether you have been coming every week or from time to time, or you just walked in the door for the first time this morning, you are very welcome here. If you are new to us and you're joining us online, I want to encourage you to reach out using the contact information on the website so that we can help connect you to the many amazing groups and events and activities that we have going on here. If you are new to us and you are here in the building, I want to encourage you to brave coffee hour and come and chat with us after the service. We'd love to get to know you better. As Unitarian Universalists, we strive to keep love at the center of everything we do. And this includes love for our beautiful, imperfect world, love for every single person in this beautiful, imperfect congregation, and even love for our beautiful, imperfect selves. Our worship today will be led by our senior minister, Reverend John Morehouse, our congregational life coordinator and ministerial intern, Yvette McDonnell, our director of learning and family ministries, Dawn Star Sarahs-Borchelt, our worship associate, Paul Costa, and with music from the fabulous MLUC Choir under the direction of David Brown and accompanied by Jodie Brown. So we are in for a treat today. I'd like to ask that you double check that your electronic devices are silenced, and please join me in stating the mission of our congregation. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
I think you'll forgive me saying that was a lights out performance. Our chalice lighting this morning is entitled "We Gather to Draw a Wider Circle" by Reverend Gretchen Haley. In a world that feeds on moral outrage, we are here to cultivate moral courage. In a time that prizes picking sides, we gather to draw a wider circle. And in a culture that teaches us to get for what we give and to ask, what's in it for me, we come to practice generosity and to remember we are all in this together. In the midst of life's bitterness, we choose to sing, to give thanks, to laugh together, and to be keepers of beauty. to offer a place of belonging for all who come, in gladness and in pain, to resist the push to the next moment and the next, to slow down, to breathe more deeply, to feel a part of something greater. For this hour and in this space, let us be the change we wish to see. Come, let us worship together. Please stand in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
A long time ago, one quiet evening, after a long retreat, the Buddha and his students were gathered together in a peaceful garden. One of the students looked up at the stars and asked, "Teacher, what is the world really made of? What holds everything together?" The Buddha looked up at the sky, smiling gently. He was quiet for a moment, as if he were remembering something important and beautiful. And then he said, "Long ago, the great god Indra, who watched over the forces of nature, created a magical net. This net stretches out forever in all directions like an endless spider web made of light and silk. At every place where the threads cross, Indra placed a shining jewel. Every single jewel is special and unique. But here's the most amazing part. The jewel reflects, each jewel reflects every other jewel in the whole net. And inside each of those reflections, you can see all the other jewels again. It goes on forever." The student looked confused. "But teacher, I don't see that net. Where are all those jewels in the real world?" Then Buddha looked kindly at her and said, "You are one of those jewels. Every person, every animal, every tree, every tiny bug, even a speck of dust floating in the sunlight, is a jewel in Indra's net. And every thought you've ever had, every feeling, every joy and sorrow, every dream and idea that anyone has ever had, they're all jewels too. Each jewel holds a reflection of all the others. That means you carry a little piece of everything inside of you, and everything carries a little piece of you. You are not alone or separate. You belong to everything, and everything belongs to you." The student's eyes filled with tears, and as she blinked, the stars above twinkled in her tear like a tiny jewel of the net. The Buddha looked at her with warmth and said, "That's why it matters how we treat the world around us. If everything is part of you and you are part of everything, then when you care for even the smallest creature or plant, you're caring for the whole world and yourself too. We are never alone. We belong to the whole web of life. Even small actions of care and kindness ripple across the web, helping the whole world shine brighter." I have a bunch of jewels, they're crystals actually, and I'm going to take them out, and you can find one later if you would like to take one home. I was thinking of handing them out now, but most of the kids are going to class now, and then we will have crystals all over all of the classrooms, and nobody will know which one is theirs. So they'll be at coffee hour, and there should be enough for some grown-ups to have some too. I would like to say, so we're going to go out to our classes now. This is our second Sunday of classes in the new school year. So we're all going to gather at the whiteboard in the atrium, and I'm going to distribute everybody. If you are a parent of a kindergarten or a first grader who you want to have take our OWL class, you should also come out because there's an orientation for you during class today. Ready?
The recipient of MLUC's September offering outreach is Access Services. Their mission is to strengthen communities by empowering individuals towards wholeness and belonging. They do so through a variety of programs, including their Housing and Homeless Services program, which operates from a belief that housing is a human right and a critical foundation to build upon for all of life's other needs. As one example of their work, a community referral led Access Services to a 90 and 91-year-old couple and their 68-year-old son. This family had recently been evicted from their apartment. Access Services provided an emergency hotel stay for a week so they could remain housed while making more permanent arrangements. They also connected this family with the Anne Francis Foundation and Montgomery County Adult Protective Services. With the support of Access Services and these other partners, the family was able to avoid becoming unhoused and ultimately moved to a new apartment. The work of Access Services aligns with Unitarian Universalism's first principle, which affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person. If you would like to make a donation online, follow the instructions that you see on the screen behind me. If you are in the sanctuary, you can also scan the QR code that is on the order of service to make a cashless donation. The offering will now be gratefully received. Candles of Community is MLUC's ritual of personal sharing and support in a trusted and safe environment. After each candle is lit, please join me in saying, "We hold you in our hearts." Barbara Elliott asks that we light a few candles of concern. First, a candle for son-in-law Dave Wallace, who will be having a second heart valve replacement surgery in November. For Dave, we hold you in our hearts. We also light a candle for Barbara's husband, Hamilton Elliott, who is still under treatment for a sudden and unexplained vision loss. For Hamilton, we hold you in our hearts. And we light a candle of concern for Barbara and all of the Elliott family members who are affected by the health challenges facing two of the men they love. For the entire Elliott family, we hold you in our hearts. And for all of those joys and concerns that are being held, some too deep for words, we light one more candle, and we hold you in our hearts.
Lower this a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So it is September, and some of you may remember I started work here December 2nd. And one of the major responsibilities that I had with this new position as Congregational Life Coordinator was to create a care ministry team. And I know there was lots of talk, and everybody was very excited. When is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? And I explained that I like to move very slow, and that I had a plan. And I shared the plan with you during our, hello. I'm seeing someone that I haven't seen for some time, and my heart is very happy. And she's like, anyway, it's good to see all of you, especially Barbara, it's good to see you today. Anyway, I shared the plan with you all during one of the large meetings that we had. And I wanted to move very slow and systematically with creating the care ministry team. And I've been able to do just that. I've been able to get connected with many of you here and build trust. And that was one of the most important things that needed to happen before the care ministry team could happen. And so today, I would like to present to the congregation our 3 new lay pastoral chaplains. Will Tina Adams and Lloyd Cole and Alan Scholl please come up?
Yeah.
Just stand right here. That's great. Yeah, that's good. That's okay. I'll stand right here. Okay. Over the past 6 months, these 3 individuals have been in training and practice to serve our congregation in providing direct pastoral care. Their training was grounded in Unitarian Universalist principles and featured a unique lay pastoral training that I developed that also was a combination of the UU Institute's program of spiritual care training for lay leaders in congregations. And we also had the assistance of 2 MLUC members. The curriculum combined 15 hours of in-person training and instruction, and 10 hours were dedicated to various readings, preparatory work, and reflection. The program and the training emphasized the following core areas: team building, active listening, confidentiality and boundary setting, which was presented by Dr. Leslie Pepitone, an MLUC member, the art of listening and role-playing, being with the sick and dying, which was presented by Sue Compton, who is an MLUC member and death doula. We also participated in the many ways to pray, pastoral care for marginalized communities and oppression. We covered forms and documentation, congregational care practice. They had actual live congregational care practice with members of the congregation, and they participated with 3 surveys that allowed me to enhance the training as we went along. They've put in a lot of work. We all have put in a lot of work. And they have agreed to hold what is shared with them in confidence and deep trust. As we move forward, these chaplains here will assist myself and Reverend John in our pastoral ministry. I am proud and honored to have had the opportunity to work with these amazing individuals, and I would like to present them officially with their new name badges that has their name on it and their new role as lay chaplains of MLUC. So, Tina. And Laura.
I am so thrilled that this has come about, and this took a long time to happen, and I really want to congratulate you on staying the course, literally staying the course. These pastoral care chaplains will visit the ill in home or in hospital. They'll support those going through major life changes as well as major health issues, loss of job, divorce, retirement. They maintain contact with those unable to attend church regularly because of mobility issues or illness, supporting friends and family involved in caregiving, comfort the bereaved, make themselves available to talk by phone or meet with church members in their homes or in hospital or in coffee shops, even on Sunday morning. They'll handle all the personal information they're exposed to with the highest level of confidentiality and care. And we will support this choice in the development of the next wave of pastoral care chaplains as our care ministry continues to expand. Now, the chaplains have something they're going to say, and I'll let them read the part that they're going to do.
As lay pastoral chaplains, we covenant in service of our congregation as chaplains, to give mutual support, fellowship, and advice to each other, to grow in our openness and transparency with each other, to meet on a monthly basis for support and continuing education, to invest time and effort to assist each other towards our personal and spiritual growth, to keep love at the center of all our interactions with you, to respect and honor each person's inherent worth and dignity. We covenant with you, the congregation, to work with our ministers and our staff in a continuing process to cherish and care for all members of our church community.
And now the commissioning, which is your part because we're congregational in our polity. Congregation, it's a series of questions. Will you place your trust in these fine people? Will you allow yourself, even push yourself, to ask for their care and receive their care? Will you honor them with the role and responsibility of this lay ministry? And if so, please answer in unison, we will.
We will.
With this trust and love, on behalf of our congregation, we hereby commission you as lay pastoral chaplains. May you take up the mantle of this ministry with love and support of your entire congregation. Thank you. Another round of applause.
As we reflect this morning on covenant, partnership, community, I thought that the choir might sing for you the hymn that I composed for our partner church in Varfova, Transylvania. So a group of just under 30 of us last year went to visit our partner church and actually sang this hymn together with our Hungarian-speaking friends. And so in fact, in the final verse of Hajnal Csillag, which translates to Morning Star, you will hear our sopranos and tenors singing in Hungarian. And the Hungarian words that they sing are the source text from which I wrote a poetic translation in English.
Thank you to the choir. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thanks to the tech team out there. None of this happens without them. I did like the moment when you were singing a bit of a solo and the lights went down, and then when the choir started in, the lights came back up, and I said, yes, there is a Unitarian God. It's in control of the power. Not sure why that happened. For those of you, and I recognize some new faces among you, I hope that you'll introduce yourself at the coffee hour to me and to the rest of the congregation, and a warm welcome to you. We're glad you're here. This is the 8th week of my injury to my knee, so I don't know what the future holds in store for me, but I'm hoping to be two-legged within a short period of time, relatively speaking. Just a few weeks ago, someone asked me, John, what is this Unitarian Universalism? What's your belief system? I said, well, we don't really have a belief system. It's more of a dance. We have ideas that we carry in our hearts, and we gather together to make them something beautiful. But not everybody gets it the first time they walk through the doors. We believe so many things, so many beautiful things about the best of who we are as human beings right now. But we often don't do it in a creedal fashion. We don't have a creed that we say week after week. That's not really who we are. I sometimes describe this religion, well, I describe it several ways. I often say it's the most fun you can have and still be a religion. And then I'll sometimes say, well, we're more of a process than a product. It's more about us being together that gives us our holiness rather than just one or two beliefs. Or as one of my colleagues said a little while ago, they said it's like sitting down and talking with Socrates after too much wine. We believe in each other. I think that's probably the most important thing to say about how we are together as a religious people. Because how we act in the world is more important than what we actually believe. What we believe is good, but how you act out those beliefs is what matters the most. William Ellery Channing, one of our great founders, once said that in all churches, people are better than their creeds. So that leads us to the question, well, what is it exactly that holds us together as a religious people? My colleague Tom Beloit, who at one time served the congregation in Overland Park, Kansas, went out to speak in favor of sex education other than abstinence. Well, when the reporters found out that there was a minister speaking in favor of sex education, they were all over him. And Tom said, well, I'm here because we do think that knowledge is important. He introduced himself and he said he was a Unitarian Universalist, and someone asked how to spell that. And then he said, well, here's how you spell it, you. Then someone asked him, what do you believe? And he said, well, that's a creedal question. We really come together as a people because we're part of a covenant, a gathering of mutual promise. It's what we are together that is the most important. Well, what do you believe about the Bible? And he said, no, that again is a creedal question. We believe many things about the Bible, but we're really here to be together as a people that are searching for higher answers. Someone said, well, what do you believe about God? And he said, well, that again is a creedal question. We're a covenantal church. I think sometimes we spend too much time thinking about what we don't believe and not enough time doing what we should in the world with what we do believe. You hear me? Covenant is an old word. It means mutual promise. And there are all kinds of covenants out there. There's covenants that have to do with land and use, and covenants that are part of legal documents. But we mean it in this sense, as being part of one another. The oldest covenant that we know of is the one where Noah is in the boat with his family and all the animals 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, depends on which translation you read, which I think was probably a little disconcerting to the camels. But in any case, Noah's there, and they find dry land, and God had wiped all living things off the earth, right? That's the story. And then he said, I will never do that again, and then he created a rainbow, a bow. And that was a covenant, that was a promise. These flood stories, by the way, friends, are not just part of the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament. There's a whole bunch, as archaeologists will say, there's a flood of flood stories. And they go back a long way. Almost every ancient civilization had a myth around floods. The oldest of those is the Epic of Gilgamesh, over 4,000 years old, which has a flood story much like this one. The covenant that we make with one another is a covenant, a promise to treat one another with respect and love, even when we do unloving things. That's the part to remember. It's easy to love one another when we're all getting along, right? Not so easy when somebody slights you. There are all kinds of covenants out there. A minister covenants with a community like this one to serve them loyally, sometimes for the rest of their lives. Even taxi drivers have covenants to get you from where you are to another place as quickly as possible. And in fact, there's the story of the taxi driver and the minister who come to the pearly gates, and St. Peter is there, and he lets them both in, and the taxi driver gets a nice fine house with a swimming pool, and the minister gets a shack with a cot. Now, this didn't seem fair to the minister, so he walks up to St. Peter and says, "What's up with the shack and the cot? This other guy got a mansion and a swimming pool." And he said, "Well, you both served love faithfully. You did your job. You got people where they needed to be. But, sir, when you preached, people fell asleep, and when the taxi driver drove, people prayed." Feels good to laugh, doesn't it? We're not sleeping now. No, we're not sleeping now because we're dealing with a dumpster fire of a world, right? It's a real mess out there, and it seems to get worse every day. I think there's a tendency, and I said this last week in our country, to think in terms of individualism, that ethic of rugged individualism that I think may have led to some of the troubles we're facing right now. If everybody has the right to be whoever they are, include putting yourself on dollar bills and coin bits and whatever else is out there, I think we misappreciate, we're not appreciating enough that the individualism that we so love, both as Americans and as UUs, actually might be leading us astray. Scott Peck, who wrote a book many, many years ago on this, said, "The problem, indeed the failure of the ethic of rugged individualism, is that it only incorporates half of our humanity. The other half is being together. It isolates us from one another, and it makes genuine community impossible." And I was rereading Hannah Arendt's piece on tyranny, which she wrote at the beginning of the Nazi regime, in which she said loneliness, which is a symptom of individualism in America, could actually be the ground on which totalitarianism rises. Covenants in all different forms are around us all the time. The covenant, we say, really is our mission statement. We transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith. That's a covenant. It's aspirational. Susan Frederick Gray, who was the president of the UUA for 6 years, said that mission and covenants are the antidote to individualism. I like that. Here's the thing to remember. When you belong here, and you all belong here because you showed up, you belong here if you're online with us in spirit, you belong here if you participate in any number of our programs, and there are many. You are part of us already. You are already entering into the covenant of being together. We are not a member services organization. And people get this confused all the time. I don't like what you're saying, John, therefore I'm not going to pay my pledge. That's not how this works. You come regardless of who's standing or sitting here. You come because you're part of who you are. We're not the YMCA. You can't just stop paying your dues and be done with us. I mean, you can stop coming, I suppose, but to be together and to be in covenant is to be together. And if we ever needed this right now, let me tell you, friends, we need it right now. We need to be that community where we can ground ourselves in what's most important. And we're not asking you to make a vow, we're not asking you to recite a creed, but we are asking you to show up and be a part of us. No single concept is more central to our faith than this old understanding of covenant. And the power of covenant is the guidance it provides us in distinguishing between our behavior and our worth. Because that's an important distinction. I talked about it last week. It's important to realize that we are worthy because we're alive, but our behavior may not be worthy just because we're alive. And a covenant draws us back together by the best of who we are. And unlike the rest of the culture that's canceling people and calling people out in this political maelstrom, we call people in. And when there's a mistake, we call you in. We call you in because we need one another now more than ever. It requires that we be present to each other, with each other, at a time especially such as this. Sometimes I think we overemphasize what we believe and underemphasize how we believe it together. So if we're going to be passionate about it, we have to understand that this mutual promise we make is a promise to be religious with one another. Now, covenant is one of those intellectually religious words that sound like, I don't know, creed or catechism or charisma, or my favorite, co-substantiation. Say that 6 times fast. It comes off as kind of jargony and intellectual. But the covenantal church that we're a part of is an old story. And unlike some stories where you can go into a church and you can hear a 2,000-word sermon on a 2,000-year-old scripture and then go off for coffee and have lunch like nothing happened, isn't what we're about. We're about bringing it and making it alive for each one of us. That heart, that spirit is really who we are. Covenant is enduring, it's evolving. It's something that we're doing all the time. It's the heart of what draws us together. Last year, we established a Right Relations Covenant team. And this group of people, who you'll hear more about and more from as the months unwind, is here to work with us in small groups and collectively together as a congregation to put our best of our aspirations sort of down on the record of how we want to be with each other, how we want to remain in the right relationship. It's not a set of rules. It's not a, you can do this, thou shalt not do that, none of that. It's how we want to be together because, friends, as these times are dark, if we aren't clear about the light that we embrace together, then we're going to fall into that darkness and we won't be able to get back out. Can you hear me on this? So, how do we get Unitarian Universalism? Well, I always love what Francis David is purported to have said, the great Transylvanian prophet of our early movement. He said, we don't all have to think alike to love alike. It's a great idea. Not easy, but a great idea. Because the real problem is when you have to love the unlovable, right? That person who slighted you. Newcomers come here all the time and they say, whoa, where's this been my entire life? Wow. And they're in love with us, right? Who's in love? Everybody's in love. Yeah, everyone's in love. We're all in love with each other. That's a great thing, right? Until there's a tiff. Until you realize, oh, wait a minute. What happened? This happens almost with great regularity. About 3 months in, a newcomer will come to me and go, well, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was. I mean, everybody's not always nice to each other. I say, well, yeah, we're human. It's a community. The secret is, are you still going to be in love with us even if we're not always nice to each other, right? That's the secret. Because we make mistakes. I'll always remember what my mother said to me. She said, you know, careful who you ostracize in your life, because chances are you're going to run into them again. And I tell interns this all the time. I said, careful who you piss off inside of Unitarian Universalism, because it's a small town. You're going to run into them again. Guarantee it. You may be even asked to serve them again in some way. And that's the hard part. I think early on, I was so worried about this that if I ran into somebody in the grocery store, I'd hide behind the cereal aisle and hope they didn't see me. And the other person would hope they didn't see me either, right? So we'd be pretending oh, hi, Reverend John. Oh, hi. Desperately trying to remember their name, but you know they're not happy with you. That's the hard part, because we can't hide behind the cereal aisle. Not really, not in these times. In these times, we need to be upfront, even with people that we may have had a disagreement with. We can still be civil. And obviously, civility is in great short supply at the present time. But we can be the experience and the mode by which we want other people to be. We have exasperated the worst in ourselves at the mass media level, and social media, in our politics. But the best of who we are is sitting in this room, out online, or in any number of congregations and small groups throughout America who want to see us become something better than what we are, who believe that we can be better together. And I believe that America is still here, despite the exhaustion we all feel. I think especially now, we need to remember that there's a lot of pain. There's a need for forgiveness. Tomorrow evening at sunset begins the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. And October 1st is the Day of Atonement, Atonement, as I like to say. Yom Kippur, the day when you make right what is wrong with those you have hurt. Offering forgiveness and accepting forgiveness when you can, but not always able to. And I want to be clear about this because forgiveness is not always, you can't always accept it. It's not always possible. And you're certainly not going to forget how you were hurt. But what I do know is that we can do it more often than not. When Charles Roberts walked into that Amish school in Nickel Mines, only 40 miles from here, back in 2006, he was a deeply troubled individual. He had all kinds of problems. He and his wife had lost a baby early. After the baby was born, they had 3 other kids. And somehow in his mind, he had twisted this around to think that he was going to molest or then kill these little girls, these little Amish girls. 6 died, many were wounded before he took the gun to himself. The most amazing thing, and you've seen this, I'm sure, but I want to bring it to your attention again, after this terrible tragedy, was the 3 Amish elders who paid a visit to his widow. One of them was the father of one of the girls who had been slain. And they walked in, took off their hats, expressed their condolences, and offered forgiveness. Now, it really perhaps wasn't for his widow to accept that forgiveness, but the offering of forgiveness did 2 things. It showed the world that despite terrible tragedies, we can bring people back into love, even when they do terrible things. It can restore our humanity with each other. And in the case of the Amish, it can restore their community to some semblance of love. It was the hardest thing, I would think, for those elders, especially the father of one of the children, to do, and equally hard for his family to hear, especially his widow. But they did it because they were in a covenant of community together. They did it because it was the start of something else. It wasn't the end, it was the beginning. Friends, remember that the best of us are already sitting in this room. The best of us are all around us all the time. And when hurt comes, many more will support one another than cause pain. That's the reality of the world in which we live. Don't get distracted. See that love is at the center of everything we do. So may it be, and amen. And I have no idea what the closing hymn is. Love will guide us. Love will guide us, friends. Please rise in body or spirit.
Love will
As we extinguish the chalice, let us not extinguish in our hearts the love that keeps us here. That beyond our brokenness, my friends, there is something that will sustain us in the days ahead. You are already a part of it, already a part of the love. Keep that love in your heart and know wherever you turn, you will find one another again. So may it be, for now the service truly begins. Please be seated for the postlude.
Unity, 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 oh, unity, 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 oh, unity, 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 when I find my voice, I'm in harmony, unity. Unity, oh, unity, unity, when I hear my children calling, unity, 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 oh, unity, unity, when I know I'm living, unity, 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 unity. Unity, oh, unity, oh, when I find myself oh, unity, oh, unity, when I hear my children calling, unity, oh, unity, unity, when I come Unity!